A very big welcome to you, my dear Capricorn. So you get a second time the sun giving your moon now the light, because back then you had Capricorn Moon and Libra Sun giving you already a message that was at the beginning, and now you get a second time, right? The Libra Sun giving you the light. And so it seems like Libra is really trying to tell you something, because Libra is all about justice, but a justice that comes from deep within you, from a heart space. That's why she's wearing a green robe. And so Libra, even though the word justice is man-made, right? It's not really a natural state that exists in nature. It's nevertheless that feeling of, well, we want to do things in harmony, in an equilibrium. Now, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus, of course, beauty and love rules, right? Venus, and of course Libra is the fifth house of partner, and so any partnership that you are entering, right, do get a second look, and you're gonna recognize who is actually really someone that I can have a true valuable relationship with. Now the moon is in your sign, or when we look at the moon, we see the constellation Capricorn behind it. And so what's really interesting is that you are getting a vision of how important really, truly good relationships are for you, because you are the 10th house of social status. You are ruled by Saturn, right? And Saturn brings boundaries and brings those regulations, and you can, or you tend to sometimes bring that into a relationship, and all of a sudden the relationship gets a little difficult because you are that personality, and also because you are rising, you are someone that wants to be successful. So who do you want to have with you in that success, right? You're gonna become more selective who you can trust, because then the attachment to your social status or your success begins. The yoga position that I picked for Libra is standing on your tiptoes, and you're holding yourself in your own balance in front of your heart, very important. And for you, I have Natarajasana, and it's got Pan that is dancing up into the third eye, right? Above the fifth chakra, you are using the third eye to liberate yourself and to come out of any binding that maybe this social status can give you. Your court card here in the Wandering Star deck that I gave you is the Queen of Pentacles, and if your birthday is between December 12th and January 8th, she is your court card, right? She is the one that is gonna, in a very loving way, because all the queens are water bound, but the element of you is of course earth, and water and earth is very fertile, it's very helpful to make anything grow, right? So just have a look down in my description. I have listed all the court cards, and of course all the cards that I'm using on each position. Back to the last reading where you had Libra Sun giving Capricorn Moon the light. The message is seen clearly from within the success of uniting duality. And so here we can see the Four of Swords, the Sun, and here in the center you have the Four of Wands, right? And so you are seeing clearly from within the success of uniting dualities. So it's very important that you're recognizing that. And I use the reference to the last reading just because sometimes I recognize like there is still a card resurfacing again in this reading, and so I'm docking on to that because everything is cyclical. There is no such thing as only you know, this one reading and then that's it. It's like it's cyclical, right? And so I'm reading today to the left because we're going to the new moon in December. You're gonna have sun and new moon both in your sign. And that's the path to the soul, right? To the left, to the soul, to the right, to the human. And the human path is going as far out as possible, and that is your opposite sign, Cancer. And so there you are gonna get the light in the full moon from Cancer, and you're just like, okay, that's what it feels like to accept or to incorporate the opposite sign. On the position of the last judgment, right? Or here, the call or the awakening is the Libra Healing Oracle. And this card, or this moment in the 22 major arcana is connected with Pluto. And Pluto is the shadow side, and Pluto is the mystic. And Pluto is going next year for 20 years into the sign Aquarius. And so I'm using this moment as what is it that you can feel right now already happening, right? Because it's really important that we understand the shadow side and the mystic, right? And so it's really important that we recognize that Pluto, which is one of the most outer planets, right? It's kind of like the collective. It's kind of like affecting us all. It's not just like a personal planet. It's a planet that's really gonna affect really the whole world. I want to see how that plays out, of course, in this reading, because this moment, right, where the sun and the moon are in this constellation right now exists only once a year. But if we incorporate all the other planets, what position there are, then this moment exists only once in your life. And that's why I'm actually using Pluto on the position of actually the calling or the call, right, that you are getting. So here I have the card that came up for you from the Libra Healing Oracle. I have all the decks listed so you can look below. Comes this beautiful card, the number 29, Air Grab, Earth Grip, Return, Air Grab, right? And so the 29, we can see a 2-2 portal with the 2 of the 20. But when I calculated this together, right, we get a 49. So the 29, at first, we get an 11 as a portal. So this card, in a way, acts like a portal. Then if I add the 20 to it, I get a 49. And the 49 is a 13. And it's really interesting. I get a lot of 13s. 13 is Pluto, right, is Scorpio, is the death card, and 13 is a mystical number. It's a very powerful number, and they are of course created out of 13, a negative number, but 13 is actually Jesus Christ with the 12 apostles, right? And so recognize that the 13 is speaking here, Pluto is speaking here, and that this card is already giving you a message. Now the 13 then becomes a 4, and the 4 is the Emperor. In Aries, we find that I am going out there and showing the world who I am. So have a look at this card. You can stop the video and enlarge it and read it yourself, but I'm gonna read it to you. Thrice burned, thrice returned. Framed and renamed, forgotten yet recalled by Odin from her gravelled realm. Aurora, old one in her ironwood grave. He asked this Eoten seer how Gulveig cheated death. He listened but did not hear. You might cheat your past and rise, craft another future and rise, but the now will eventually find you. Our vessels are from the earth and they will be returned there. So the earth's grip, right? The earth is binding us here, and that's what you come out of, right? You're rising out of the earth's grip. You're rising through all these chakras up, and you go in the end to the third eye, which is then that visual, that inner seeing. And so you are getting here already quite an interesting message, right? Because of course Pluto, the mystic, and of course the shadow side is talking here directly to you. So this is your calling. This is the moment that we're going to look at this reading and see what the cards are saying on each of their positions. On the position of the Fool, we get the Eight of Pentacles. That's the Sun in Virgo. And the Sun in Virgo means you are orderly, you are working hard, you are mastering your craft, you are ready to really wanting to learn. And so Libra, who gives you a second chance to find an equilibrium in the learning, is giving you here the Eight of Pentacles. And Pentacles are always that work and getting the money for the work that you put in. And so there is a validation in the Eight. The Eight is always that moment where I recognize I am successful, I have created this success, I have worked hard on myself, and now I'm allowing myself to be a master, but I continue to working on my craft. The 8 and the 0 then creates the 80, right? The 80 is then a higher level of the 8 because there's a 0 in it, and more zeros there are, more you are also recognizing that either you can charge 80 euros or $80 or maybe 800, right? An hour. I mean, it's just giving you a little bit of an idea, but here comes the 80, and so who knows, maybe it's a sign. Now, Uranus is connected with the Fool, and Uranus is always that change and that new beginning, and that you recognize that you have mastered your craft and you can charge more. On the position then of the Magician. Remember, right? We're going to the left, we're going to the new moon, we're going the soul path, comes many path, and many path is the 34. Now in the 34 I see right away the Empress and the Emperor, and that calculated together we get the 7, which is the Chariot, and which is Cancer, your opposite sign, where you're gonna have your full moon, right? So the Magician adds a number to the 34, we get the 35, and then here comes right away an 8-8 portal. And the 88 says, well, twice the 8 is being creative in that infinite learning. Infinitely, I'm coming and learning and coming and learning. And you see how she's working on her visuals, because the Magician is connected with Mercury, and she is the one that acts upon the messages that she has, right? This is the inspiration. Meanwhile, this is just a crazy idea, but this crazy idea isn't so crazy because it comes from deep within, that you have reached mastery in whatever you are doing. So the 88, or 2 times 8 here, is that moment where you recognize, oh, okay, something is talking to me. Then I picked, of course, from the Mother Peace Tarot an extra card, because this is an oracle card, and I wanted to see what the tarot is saying. And we get here the Ace of Swords on reverse. Now, upright, you can see this is the Ace of Swords, a very beautiful cards, right? It's a Mother Peace Tarot deck. And yeah, you recognize that meditation brings you to understand what the path is, right? You see these arms reaching up, and it's like many paths lead all to the same, but for some reason something is reversed. And I'm just gonna read this to you because when they reverse, right, each deck gives you a different meaning in the reverse. So I'm just gonna read it to you. So the Ace of Swords in general means a woman balances on a sword as a butterfly guides her vision. Reverse, she is involved in negative thoughts or activity. She or someone else is making things go in a bad direction. She could be self-destructive now. So, on the other hand, you have the 8, right? When we calculate the Magician together here, we have the 8. But now with the 1, you get the 9, which is a completion. So we go from 8 to 9. And that's a succession. But somehow you are destroying something. Somehow you're not really believing that you are able to really create a change in this world. It's almost like you're doubting your craft and your path, because this is the inspiration that you get when you work on what you're working on. So have a look, right? Have a deeper look in why you're feeling this way. On the position of the High Priestess, which is ruled by the Moon, comes the Moon. And so the Moon is literally letting you know you definitely are needing to look at your intuition, because your intuition is going to let you know someone is here not helping you, or you yourself are not helping yourself, right? So please have a look. Now the Moon is the number 18 plus the 2 is the 20. And the 20, now we know, has come up this card. Remember the Earth's grip. Remember that you're an Earth sign and that you might sometimes feel that you are being drawn down into that, I can't just get into the social status that I wish I could get. But that's exactly what you're learning in this lifetime, being born a Capricorn, right? Being born a Capricorn, you picked this difficulty, but also the good stuff, right? So recognize that and see that you maybe want to start to rather dance up instead of work yourself up, right? And so recognize that this is not work, this is love, right? Love in action. And so, yeah, maybe that love in action has not been yet really recognized deep within you, and something is coming and letting you know there is this one thought that you might think you're not good enough for what you're doing. But here comes now the intuition, and it says, well, use your deeper intuition, work on yourself, and learn to work with the Moon and with all the planets that are here, letting us now our feelings and our subconscious, what's stuck in our subconscious, old patterns, right? Then on the position of the Empress comes the Magician. So here you are. The 3 is the Empress that gives birth, that is the mother, that is someone that leads from her heart because she just is so powerful. And the 3 and the 1 creates a 4. And so together these two can actually also be read as a 13. The 1 and the 3 is a 13, right? And so again, Scorpio is here letting you know transformation, transformation, transformation. Let go, because you are good. You are really good in what you're doing. So become an emperor, but not an emperor that is running after the material, run after the craft, run after what you love to do. And if you have a moment that you don't like what you do, then just go out and go for a walk and see life just unfolding the way it unfolds, and all of a sudden you again love coming back to what you're doing. On the position of the sun, right? Here comes the sun. It's always that beautiful song. Here comes the sun, my little darling. The strength card, the number 8. And so this is literally letting you know that here justice from the Golden Dawn Tarot is bringing you strength. It's almost like justice is saying, I'm going to give you one more chance to see that you are strong and that you have now 3 times the 8. The 8 here, right? And then you had the 8 here with the Magician. Without that negative thought, we leave the 8. The completion is to turn that negative thought around, right? So 3 times the 8. Recognize that, of course, he is also ruled by Mercury, the messenger. And so here he is ruled by the sun, and the sun, being in justice, is bringing you Venus, bringing you the understanding that love and beauty comes when we love what we're working at, right? And so you see the strength, you see the passion, because Leo is opposite of Aquarius, and that passion to really go and say, I know, I love what I'm doing. Now in the deck of yours, Justice is this beautiful woman that is showing you that now the balance that you are bringing into your life is important, right? And here it is the 11, and here it's the 8. And so you are recognizing 3 times the 8. And 3 times the 8 is being empowered, being so empowered of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and that it gives you strength to continue, right? Even through that infinite, like sometimes, even I sometimes sit and I'm like, oh my God, I have to do a reading again. And then I'm like, oh God, this is the lower self talking. It's like, no, oh my God, there is a reading again that I can do, right? Because the moon has changed or the sun has changed. Now on the position of the Queen of Pentacles, we see the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is that inspiration. It's that wand that also comes from Leo. Is that wand that is also connected with a certain sexuality. Now you're the 10th Zodiac sign, or the 10th house of social status. Now with the 1 you create here a portal, the 11. And the 11 in the Kabbalistic tree of life is that hidden number. Right? We have 10 numbers, and that's why we have Ace to 10, and the 10 is the new 1, is that new realization, and you always that new realization because you're the 10th zodiac sign. And the 11 is that inner teacher has now understood something so profound that you actually can teach it. And have a look at this beautiful card, right? Here comes the snake. And it's the snake that you're very familiar with, right? And you see the snake goes around the spine and is giving you the inspiration up into the light, into that which you want to become the most, which is in the end the 15 that becomes a 6, self-love. A deep self-love that you can see in your 3rd eye. Then on the position of the devil, which is in the moon, comes here the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is connected with the constellation Jupiter in Leo. Now Jupiter is that planet that makes us expand further and greater and more established, let's say, because it's connected with Sagittarius, but also with the Wheel of Fortune. And Sagittarius is that guardian angel. And a guardian angel is huge. And so recognize Jupiter in Leo, that Leo is here, right, giving you the strength. And so you have the Ace and you have the 6, so you actually have 7 wands. And remember, you had here the 7 of the many paths. So a 7-7 portal, in a way, is making you go and be victorious. Go against all odds, to step up against this one thought. The Ace of Swords, but there's this one action that maybe can help you to reverse this one thought that makes you feel like you're not good enough, right? Is taking action. Always, when you have one thought that's like bringing you down, make or do something that gives you the feeling that you are victorious, that you are, right, able to overcome these kind of thoughts deep within you. Now the 15, which becomes the 6, and the 6 is a 6-6 portal, right? But I could also calculate 15 plus 6 is 21, is the world. Now I give you the choice if you want a 6-6 portal or the 21, the world, which is ruled by Saturn as well. So the world is either yours, or you have 2 times the 6 creativity in being successful, of loving yourself and showing that to the world. Then on the position of the moon as that dream oracle, here comes the spirit of the river, the movement towards adventure, comes the 50, and the moon is the 18. The moon is the one that has also the intuition and your dreams, right, is looking over or protecting you in your dreams. And this dream oracle is bringing you here the river, the spirit of the river. And the river flows, right, and she flows. You can see how she's literally flowing into the left. So the soul is ready to go deep down to the new moon. And the new moon is literally letting you know that. So the 18 and the 5 is a 23, and the 5 is left. So see that you are able to recognize that something continues, right? After this victorious moment, you keep working on yourself, because the 5 is also in your card, in your 15, and the 5 is the pentagram, is the work, is that human burden that we have to overcome. Now I could also calculate the 18 to a 9, and then the 9 and the 5 is a 14, which is temperance, right? And temperance is the guardian angel, temperance is Jupiter, is being big like a guardian angel, and the 14 then becomes again a 5. Now I picked here as well a Mother Peace Tarot, and I got the 5 of discs. Now the 5 of discs, right, plus the 8 of discs are 13 discs. There is a huge transformation needed by the way you see money. Money is a transformation, money is love, money is then the 4 is left of the 13, the Emperor, right, that is ruling, but he's ruling always again and again from a deep love, from an inner knowing, because the 5 of Pentacles is Mercury in Taurus, and Mercury is coming through the information that you maybe think that you need to work hard to live your life, but you see how she is working, how she's crafting, and she's continuously doing what she needs to be doing. And so there is a 5-5 portal, right, with the 50, and I leave that, right, I'm not going to change that. So the 5-5 is 2 times 5. See the creativity in how the lessons come to you about money and how you make money and how you learning to actually create now a movement towards adventure in how you can make the money that you are really want, right? And that you deserve to become, because you are a master now in what you're doing. Then on the position of the sun comes here the ice. So this is a 33. Right away we have a portal. The 19 becomes a 10. And so the 10 is then letting you know a new cycle is wanting to talk to you. A new cycle is wanting to talk to you, right? The 10 is that, oh, I understand now what the 1 means. And in a way, it's almost like maybe this, right? The Ace of Swords, this one thought that you think you're not good enough, keeps you frozen, and you're not sitting on the horse and you're going out into the adventure that you should be taking. And the sun, which is in Libra, is that one sword, is that one strong energy, right? Is that moment where you're like, okay, this is that one thought that I need to turn around. How do I do that? Looking deep within in the meditation. And so here then you gain the strength to sit back up on the horse and go and be the freedom, because the 33 is connected with the Freemason, the 33 degrees. 33 was the age Jesus died on the cross. 33 is a very important number. So recognize that. Recognize that you are called, right, to see, to have the clarity, because usually on the sun we have a horse with the child sitting on the horse, right? But you are here. So get out of there. Now I picked here as well out of the Mother Peace Tarot a card, and we get the 5 of Cups, but reverse. Now I'm going to show it to you upright. I find these very beautiful cards, but when I turn it around, you see something is here, and I'm going to read you this card as well, because it is again on its head. And let me show you. I'm going to put it upright so you can see the card. Because upright it says, the sticky starfish are tipping over the cups. Some pearls have spilled out. Reversed, her feelings of hope and new possibilities are returning. She has worked through the loss and is ready to go on. So here the reverse is actually something positive. Meanwhile, here the reverse was something negative, right? So recognize this one thought. Recognize that this one thought is important, that you turn it around. You turn it around by taking one action with the Ace of Wands, right? And then you recognize now that the starfish is connected with the pentagram. And so look at this. It's actually like this. The 5 of Cups, right? This is upright. And so you see some pearls have come out, and recognize now that you maybe find here a newfound love for yourself, for understanding, for empowerment, right? By really truly loving yourself now, because we have the 33, we have the 5, and we have the 10, and the 10 and the 5 is the 15. So find clarity in your emotions, because 15 is your number, and then that becomes the 6. Total self-love with the 33, if I calculate it together, it's also a 6, but I leave it like a portal. So 6 in a way is talking here to you. So recognize what's happening here, because the 5 of Cups is connected with the constellation Mars in Scorpio. And again, Scorpio, next month there's something gonna happen that you are gonna be able to look deeper into What do you want to let go? And then on the last card, the universe or the world, comes the Three of Pentacles. Now, you have 15 pentacles and then you get 3 more, right? You have 18 pentacles, which is the moon. The moon is in your sign, and the moon came up on the position of the high priestess, which rules her. And so this is Mars in Capricorn, building something. You recognize, you see here that you are learning and understanding that you are good what you're doing. You're building something. You're building an empire, because the world is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is your planet, and you love to be part of the world, right? And so the 3, and the 3 again is a 33. Here's a 33. And when I put now the 8 next to it, the 8 and this 3 creates an 11. And the 11 again is that portal that you got by taking one action. Remember that one action creates an 11. And the 11 is then also connected with the 11th zodiac sign, which is Aquarius. And where is Pluto going next year? Into Aquarius for 20 years. So release the grip to the earth, release that holding on to the earth, become free like the Aquarian age is teaching us right now. Release, right, the heaviness and become liberated by this understanding that certain collaborations are positive. Not everything has to be like, oh my God, right, this is like gonna attach me to the people, etc., right? So remember, it's like you gotta learn to embrace what talks here to you, because you have 18 discs. 18 is then the 9, and after the 8 comes the 9. So you know exactly what the message is, right? And so I hope I see you in the next reading, because in the next month the sun is going to be in Scorpio. And so remember, the 11, right, is a portal that is going to help you to really pass through whatever it is that you have to pass through to be even more successful. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.